Oh, hi there. My name's Tyler. Welcome to LAI 596, an Intro to Educational Statistics. I'll be your instructor for this course, and I look forward to the learning that we have ahead. So my journey. Here's where I've been over the past 15, 20 years, and then how that relates to this course. So I started off as an elementary school teacher, became a school administrator eventually. I realized pretty quickly I did not like that so much. So I wanted to help teachers become better teachers. So I went back for a PhD in literacy, and it kind of transformed into a degree in curriculum instruction and the science of learning. I also picked up a certificate in applied stats as well. And then after that, I became a data scientist, right? So that journey is kind of a weird journey. Like, how do you get from elementary teacher to data scientist? So there's some stuff that happened in between. And I started out my journey in the PhD program with a bent for qualitative methods. I liked it and enjoyed it. And my advisor at the time insisted that I needed to take a stats course. So I said, okay, I'll take it. I wound up taking it and really thoroughly loved it. So I took every quant method course that I could after that. And I joined this Talk Stats community. I wanted fellow dorks to talk to. And it was a great online community to be able to talk about all things geeky and stats, right? And in the process, they put me onto a program for statistical computing called R. It was cutting edge at the time. It's an older program, but at the time, it was cutting edge and still is. And mostly, I was cheap and didn't want to pay for SPSS, and I did not want to go into the computer labs, so I picked up R, and I learned R. And then along the way, because I picked up R, I wanted to get better at programming, so I found Stack Overflow, and this is a great place to ask questions and started answering questions. So those two communities, Talk Stats and Stack Overflow, were really important to my education. And then along the way, I started getting pretty interested in data visualization as well. And my dissertation wound up being a dissertation that took visualization and student-teacher language and looking at that language and that discourse through data visualization, right? So you can kind of see the progression of how I got from elementary teacher to data scientist now, right? And along the way, I'm continuing to grow and learn. So I'm really working a lot with machine learning, natural language processing, and doing big data. And I find myself coming back to these two communities, TalkStats and Stack Overflow, asking questions, continuing dialogue. So those networks and communities that I built early on, I'm still using those as a data scientist. Also, I'm finding myself coming back to some of the basics, or base, I should say, not basics. All the quant methods that I learned, the R, I'm continuing to use it in my daily work. I probably use R 6 to up to 8 hours a day of my work time. Data visualization is an important part of communication and understanding of data for me, so I keep coming back to those as well. So how do these things all shape LAI 596? So these things were really pretty important, and I think they're important for a basic intro to stats class, right? So some things that you'll see that come out of that in this course, you'll see a huge push for R. We will be using R. We'll be using a lot of visualization. We'll understand how to use visualization programs. That was something that I felt was a bit lacking in my program. So we'll be using a lot of visualization to understand data. Community was really important for me, understanding statistics, understanding how to use R. So we'll be using our discussion boards and be using each other to bounce ideas off, ask questions, answer questions, those sorts of things. And I'm really hoping for the dialogue to be authentic. My discussion, online discussion, has been terrific in Stack Overflow and TalkStats, so I think that I know that it's possible to have a really great online authentic discussion, so that's my hope here in this class. Self-assessment, a lot of the learning I've done has been learning on my own, and it continues to be learning on my own, and so I have to be able to assess myself, what's working, what's not, so you'll see a lot of built-in self-assessment in this course as well. Also, a lot of different mediums and modes that along the way, my advisors and a lot of the people who are really important to me in my PhD program really had a huge push with different modalities in learning. So we will be using a number of different texts and ways of communicating content to one another. This book was pretty important to me. It came out in 2012 by a guy named Andy Field, and even before that I was following him. Just a phenomenal teacher, really takes statistics and puts it in a way that people can really understand. Humorous, also gives great examples of how you can actually run code, gives great examples of how you would interpret code or interpret the output, gives great examples of how you might write it up in an APA format. So I think his book is really pretty nice in that fashion. Times he can be a bit risque. Another important author along my educational journey has been Hadley Wickham. So we'll be using a bit of material from his R for Data Science book as well. So that's my welcome to LAI 596. I really look forward to the learning that will be happening this semester.